I have the utmost respect and admiration for our president. He has, I don't know if he even knows this, but he's given so many people hope that there's a chance to beat the bad guys and to win and to do it with your head held high and your integrity intact.
When Nicki Minaj walked onto that stage at Turning Point USA's America Fest in Phoenix, something shifted in the culture. The queen of rap, the woman who once called Donald Trump a misogynist, stood there with a smile plastered across her face, praising the same man she'd spent years criticizing. She called him handsome. She called him dashing. She talked about how he'd given people hope to beat the bad guys. And just like that, the internet exploded. Within hours, MAGA Minaj was trending everywhere, and fans who defended her through every controversy were finally done. The Barbs were in shambles, the LGBTQ community felt betrayed, and everyone was asking the same question: what the hell happened to Nicki Minaj? This wasn't just about politics. This was about watching someone completely abandon everything they'd stood for and doing it in the most public way possible. Because here's the thing nobody's talking about. This transformation didn't happen overnight. There were breadcrumbs leading up to this moment, signs that something was brewing beneath the surface. And when you start connecting the dots, when you look at her husband's legal troubles, her brother's prison sentence, and her own immigration status, a much darker picture starts to emerge. Some say she's protecting her family. Others claim she's protecting herself, but the real question isn't just why she did it, it's what she's willing to sacrifice to make it happen. And trust me, once you hear what's really going on behind the scenes, you'll understand why so many people think Nicki's legacy is about to go up in flames.
Trump could say, "You're fired." Let Martha Stewart run her company the same way and be the same way. Oh, evil. But Donald Trump, he gets to hang out with young and have 50 different wives and just be cool. Oh, Donald, we love you. Donald Trump. But when you...
Let's rewind to 2020 for a second, because the Nicki Minaj we're seeing today is almost unrecognizable from the woman we knew just a few years ago. Back then, she was vocal about Trump's anti-immigration policies, calling them out publicly and making it clear she wasn't jumping on any bandwagon. She wasn't shy about it either. Nicki straight up said Trump was the poster child for misogyny in the entertainment industry, the kind of man who surrounds himself with young women just to feel relevant. She talked about how he could fire people on television and be celebrated for it, while women in the same position would get dragged through the mud. This was the same Nicki who dropped a freestyle remix about Trump in November 2016, just weeks after he got elected, making her stance crystal clear to anyone paying attention. Fast forward to December 2024, and she's standing on stage at a conservative conference, gushing about how Trump has inspired her. She's talking about his integrity, his strength, his ability to overcome being lied about. The words coming out of her mouth sound like they were written by someone else entirely. At one point during the event, she even made this bizarre comment about J.D. Vance, calling him an assassin in a way that had people side-eyeing the entire situation. Keep in mind, this was at a memorial event where the language should have been carefully chosen, but Nicki seemed completely comfortable throwing around loaded terms that made everyone uncomfortable. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Fans who'd stuck by her through the vaccine controversy, through the drama with her husband, through everything, were finally tapping out. Her comment sections turned into war zones. People were posting screenshots of her old tweets, the ones where she criticized Trump, putting them side by side with clips from her America Fest appearance. The contrast was jarring. And it wasn't just random internet trolls calling her out. Members of the LGBTQ+ community, the same people who'd been her most loyal supporters for over a decade, felt completely blindsided. These were the fans who defended her music, streamed her albums, and built her empire. Now they were watching her align herself with people who actively worked against their rights. What made it even worse was how calculated it all seemed. This wasn't a slip of the tongue or a misunderstood comment. Nicki showed up prepared, with talking points that had clearly been rehearsed. She knew exactly what she was doing and who she was speaking to. The woman who once championed being yourself and standing up to power was now cozying up to the establishment in the most obvious way possible. And people noticed. They noticed how comfortable she looked, how easily the words flowed, how she didn't hesitate once. It was like watching someone read from a script they'd been handed, and nobody could figure out why she'd agreed to say the lines in the first place. But that's the thing about major shifts like this. They don't happen in a vacuum. There's always something lurking beneath the surface, some reason that makes the impossible suddenly make sense. And when you start digging into what's been happening in Nicki's personal life, when you look at the legal troubles surrounding the people closest to her, the timing of this political transformation starts feeling a lot less random and a lot more strategic.
For prioritizing this issue and for his leadership on the global stage and calling for urgent action to defend Christians in Nigeria, to combat extremism, and to bring a stop to violence against those who simply want to exercise their natural right to freedom of religion or belief.
Before Nicki went full MAGA, there were warning signs that most people dismissed as just another celebrity using their platform for good. It started with Nigeria. She began speaking out about Christian persecution in the country, posting about it on social media and using her massive platform to raise awareness. On the surface, it seemed noble. She was highlighting religious violence and advocating for vulnerable communities. Her fans defended her immediately, saying she was just passionate about her roots and wanted to make a difference. After all, this wasn't the first time Nicki had shown love to Nigeria or spoken about issues affecting the continent. Nothing about it seemed suspicious at first. But then things escalated quickly. Nicki didn't just post about it online and move on. She ended up speaking at the United Nations alongside members of the Trump administration, discussing religious freedom and persecution. That's when eyebrows started raising. The company she was keeping at these events wasn't accidental. She was suddenly in rooms with conservative politicians, religious leaders tied to right-wing movements, and people who had very specific agendas. The narrative shifted from Nicki caring about human rights to Nicki being strategically positioned within conservative circles. And it worked. She got attention from people who'd never paid attention to her before, people with power and influence in spaces she'd never accessed. This opened doors that had previously been closed to her. Within months, she had an invitation to Turning Point USA, one of the most prominent conservative organizations in the country. But here's where it gets messy. Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, had previously gone on record saying Nicki Minaj was a bad influence on young black women. He specifically called out 18-year-old black girls, claiming her music and image were harmful. Yet somehow, years later, she's not just invited to their event, but given a speaking slot, while other black creators affiliated with the organization were left in the background. They didn't get to speak. They didn't get the spotlight, but Nicki did. The timing was suspicious for another reason, too. Candace Owens had just cut ties with Turning Point USA, leaving them without their token black face for the movement. They needed someone new, someone with cultural relevance and a massive following, someone who could help them reach communities they'd been struggling to penetrate. Enter Nicki Minaj. She had the fame, the influence, and apparently the willingness to play ball. Whether she realized she was being used or whether this was a mutually beneficial arrangement, nobody knows for sure. But what's clear is that her sudden interest in Christian persecution in Nigeria became the gateway drug to full conservative alignment. People started connecting the dots. Why would someone who'd spent years criticizing conservative values suddenly become their poster child? Why would she accept an invitation from someone who'd publicly insulted her and her fans? The Nigeria angle gave her a way in that seemed legitimate, a cause that was hard to argue against. But once she was in, once she had their attention and their platform, the messaging shifted. It wasn't just about religious freedom anymore. It became about trans kids, parental rights, immigration policy, and defending Trump. The transformation was complete, and it all started with what seemed like genuine advocacy for a community in need. But advocacy doesn't usually come with this many strings attached, and when you're suddenly rubbing shoulders with people who've built careers on tearing down the very communities that made you famous, people start wondering what you're really after. Because whatever Nicki gained from this connection, it cost her something far more valuable, and she was just getting started.